It's difficult not to be a snob about entry-level pony cars. Culturally, we've been conditioned to believe more is more when it comes to this distinctly American vehicle genre. More cylinders equals more power equals more speed equals more noise equals more fun. But for arguably the first time since its SVO-badged 80s predecessor, the new 2024 Ford Mustang EcoBoost makes a serious attempt at upending that paradigm. At first glance, the entry point to the new 7th-generation Mustang doesn't seem worth getting excited about. Underneath the S650's taller, sharper edges and revamped screen-filled cabin sits a modified version of the S550 Mustang's platform. It gets upgraded brakes, a new steering rack, and some suspension adjustments. Under the hood, a new EcoBoost 2.3-liter turbocharged i4 only gets a 5-horsepower bump to 315 horsepower, while torque stays even at 350 pound-feet. The updated 5.0-liter Coyote V8, meanwhile, gains power and loses torque. You don't even get the manual transmission option anymore. Only 3% of Mustang EcoBoost buyers opted to row their own gears in the previous gen car, and so the new one is available only with a 10-speed automatic. But as Ford likes to remind folks, no one knows Mustang owners like it does. Surely, then, it knows those people will be disappointed to hear this review only concerns our brief drive of the 2024 Mustang EcoBoost. Due to Ford's embargo on driving impressions, you'll have to check back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Eastern for our full in-depth review of the V8-powered 2024 Mustang GT Fastback and Convertible, as well as our impressions on the upgraded cabin. You'll have to wait even longer to hear about the brand new Mustang Dark Horse Track Special. If it makes you feel any better, Ford made us wait to drive the 2024 Mustang GT, too, setting us loose for an afternoon in a slew of Mustang EcoBoosts, promising to chuck us the keys to the 5.0s the following morning. We aimed to make the most of it. We beelined for a taxicab yellow Mustang EcoBoost Fastback and pointed it at the nearest canyon road. That happened to be Los Angeles' Glendora Mountain Road, a twisty 2-lane winding up through the San Gabriel Mountains toward Mt. Baldy. Primarily the domain of hot hatches and small sports cars like the Toyota GR86 or Subaru BRZ, it was a great trial by fire for the larger, heavier Mustang EcoBoost. As it turned out, it couldn't have been a better match. Previous Mustang EcoBoosts, even sportier variants such as the Focus RS-powered Mustang EcoBoost High Performance Package, not only drove big, but were unwieldy. Prone to seesawing back and forth on either axle and with vague steering, they couldn't hold a candle to the now discontinued 4-cylinder Camaro 1LE. The new 2024 Ford Mustang EcoBoost doesn't have that problem. Even without the optional performance package, more on that in a moment, the effort the Blue Oval's engineers exerted to improve the Mustang's ride and handling shines through. Steering feel as we wound our way up into the mountains was light and linear, weighing up nicely as we navigated the road's tight switchbacks and narrow passes. Those who prefer a touch more heft can tap a button on the wheel that switches the steering into sport, or for less, comfort settings. An even heavier track steering setting is available, too, but you have to be in track mode to use it. The Mustang EcoBoost rides well on its steel springs, happily absorbing the lumps and bumps of the road without upsetting the car. In this modern era of easy speed, you'll never mistake the revised EcoBoost for being fast, but it'll likely embarrass most V8-powered Mustangs built prior to 2010. The 4th-gen EcoBoost mill makes more power earlier in the rev range than the EcoBoost it replaces, staying on the boil for longer. Equipped with the optional active exhaust system, the new 2024 Ford Mustang EcoBoost even sounds pretty good, replacing the previous car's hot hatch soundtrack with a low, throaty rumble. If there's a problem with the new Mustang EcoBoost, it's with its transmission. Although it's fine for around-town driving and cruising, we found the gearbox was prone to upshifting early and downshifting late regardless of drive mode, sometimes even mid-corner, which really neutered what could be an enjoyable canyon carver. We'd have opted for shifting ourselves, but Mustang EcoBoosts without the performance package have a traditional Prindle gear selector and no way to select gears manually. In our book, that makes the performance package a must-add option for the 2024 Ford Mustang EcoBoost. Aside from replacing low with a manual mode, the $3,475 package also adds paddle shifters and a host of other performance goodies to the Mustang EcoBoost package. The Mustang GT Performance packages 6-piston front, 4-piston rear Brembo brakes, a Torsen limited slip differential with a 3.55 rear end, replacing the standard 3.15 limited slip rear, revised spring rates, or a $1,750 optional Magneride upgrade, 19-inch wheels with summer tires, and, perhaps our favorite feature, an electronic drift brake. A painfully brief afternoon spent on an autocross and drift course in a 2024 Ford Mustang EcoBoost with the performance package would only hammer that point home. Properly equipped, the 4-pot Mustang felt far better dialed on the track than it did when driven on twisty roads. The 10-speed shifted smartly in both sport and track modes, engine barking as the transmission downshifted when braking into corners, and it held gears to the red line when appropriate. We ended up not even needing the paddle shifters we were so desperate for during the road drive. As enjoyable as the Mustang EcoBoost was on the small autocross course, Ford points to the new drift brake as a sign of how well it knows its customers. It may be onto something. When I was younger and dumber, I sheared the parking brake lever of my old 2000 Mustang GT clean from the floor pan attempting to drift in empty parking lots. New Mustang EcoBoost and GT owners won't have that problem. Engaged via the center screen in track mode, the drift brake changes the car's stability control calibration and turns the electronic parking brake lever into a drift brake, locking the rear wheels when pulled up 90 degrees. While as pointless as a Dodge Challenger Hellcat's Eco mode, the drift brake is an absolute blast in the right environment. It engages surprisingly high up in its travel, but once you get the feel for how it works, it's exceptionally fun to blast down a straight, set the Mustang up for a Scandinavian flick, yank the brake, drop it, and pin the throttle to the floor, powering out of the slide. I'd have flat-spotted so many tires if I had this on my old GT, but perhaps I'd also be a better drifter by now. Fun like this rarely comes cheap, but the new 2024 Ford Mustang EcoBoost is priced competitively with rear-drive alternatives like the BRZ, GR86 and Mazda MX-5 Miata, as well as sport compacts like the Hyundai Veloster N or Honda Civic Type R. Prices start at $33,160 for base EcoBoost Fastbacks, while the Mustang EcoBoost Premium, which mostly adds a handful of cosmetic upgrades, starts at $38,865. Mustang EcoBoost convertibles are a bit dearer, starting at $41,260 for the base car and $44,185 for the premium version. But the question remains, is the new 2024 Ford Mustang EcoBoost good enough to break through the Mustang GT's hold on the public consciousness? Check back tomorrow to find out.